Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Private Practice with Soul podcast. This is the first podcast for counsellors that just don't align with the traditional approaches to business and that want to use their spiritual gifts, talents, and interests to create, you guessed it, a private practice with soul. So, look, leave it to me to provide you with everything you need, including strategies that you can use to increase your income, reduce your workload, and of course, increase inquiries and referrals to your beautiful soul-led private practice. I love it so much. If you haven't done it already, grab your journal, grab your pen, and let's begin. Welcome to the Private Practice with Soul podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Brooklyn Storme, and it is so lovely to have your company today. Thank you very much for pushing play on yet another episode. I don't know how many we're up to now. It must be approaching, I'd have to say we'll be getting up to nearly 400 episodes now. How do you keep coming up with content? That's what people keep asking. But you know what? You keep having questions and that gives me the content. So that's the very simple answer. Now, I do have Buddy with me today. He's all snuggled up beside me. It's very cold here. So he's got his little blankie and he's gone back to sleep on my lap. So hopefully he'll be a good boy and we can have this next half hour, 45 minutes to ourselves. I want to speak with you today about strategies relating to re-engaging past clients or clients that may have ghosted you. And this came up because, well, it's a difficult time for people to be filling their diaries at the moment. I understand there are lots of gaps. And while client re-engagement isn't the only solution, it's one of the solutions. So this week I made a whole bunch of resources and it was such a delight for me to be able to share one a day with everybody in the group. So I wanted to talk about those today and also just let you know that if you're not in Private Practice 101, start your private practice yet, it might be a good time for you to check out that membership. The reason being that it does walk you through all of this and it includes these types of resources. These ones are in there as well, of course, but it includes resources like these. So if you like these ones, you'll like the ones that are in that membership. It teaches you how to plan, create, and open your private practice. And there are people in there from all walks of life. It started off just for counsellors, really, but now there's counsellors, psychologists. We've got 2 doctors, there's psychiatrists in there now, physios, occupational therapists, yoga practitioners, creative therapists, music and art therapists, speech therapists, sorry. Yeah, so it's like, I don't know, I started off with a very small niche or a very specific niche, and then as words got around, it's just sort of expanded from there. So, basically, if you're a health and wellness professional and you want to start your business, we call it private practice, that would be where you start. It's also suitable for people who are in private practice but not yet getting the results that they want. For example, not yet seeing enough clients or not yet getting the turnover that you want. So popping in there and checking that you've got the right foundations in place has been able to fix this problem for so many other women in private practice. It can also be helpful for you too. But anyway, on with the show. So the reason that I wanted to talk about client re-engagement was because what I'd observed in our online communities was that, people were struggling. They were having cancellations and people were not rebooking or people were ghosting them. So they're making inquiries and then disappearing. And this was very, very frustrating and confusing and concerning for, the health professionals. And they were then doing things like doubting themselves, questioning their worth, questioning their decision to start business, all that kind of stuff. So because I've been in private practice for almost 30 years, I do know a few things and that can work. And so one of the things that can work is to re-engage past clients. And so I thought, let's have a go at doing this. And one of the things that I know as well is from my private work with clients is that every now and again when they have gaps in their diary, we discuss client re-engagement, they panic. They feel awkward, they feel vulnerable, they feel discomfort around it. They want to avoid it at all costs. It's like, what else could I do? Like, that can't be the only option. What else could I do? I don't want to do that. And I get it, like it can feel awkward and uncomfortable. And so, understanding that, but also understanding the strategy works, I knew then that I needed to create a solution that was going to help these beautiful, beautiful therapists who do this very important work to get out of their own way and start helping these people who've, dropped off the face of the earth for whatever reason. So that's how this bundle came about. I didn't intend for it to be a collection of client re-engagement resources, but when I sent out the first one, I had a really positive response, and I shared it in the Counsellors Connect Australia group, got a really positive response in there too. And then that made me think, well, what else could I give them? So I kept making resources. So I think there are 4 different resources, and I'm going to cover some of them with you now so that if you didn't see them, you'll understand. And then we can go from there. So I just want to look at, there was a journal that I made that helps you to break down any mindset barriers that you might be having around re-engaging with clients. So I'm just going to bring that up now so that we can have a quick look at it together while I've got you here. Here we go. It's opening up. Okay. So, visibility is not winning or losing. It's really having the courage to show up and be seen when we have no control over the outcome. And the reason that I've put this as the very first page in the workbook for you is because I believe it to be so true. Being visible in this sense is reconnecting with clients and not having any control over the outcome, but still having the courage to show up anyway. So, there are some things in here that we can explore that might help you. So, of course, beginning with a reflection around, a time someone, maybe it was me, maybe it was someone else, said to you, hey, maybe it might be a good idea for you to reconnect with a former client. I really want you to think, even if you're driving along now and you're just listening in the car, if I said to you, if you want to fill your diary, reconnect with an old client or a former client or past client, what emotions are surfacing within you now? Is it panic? Is it fear? Is it, I wouldn't know what to say. How uncomfortable would that be? They wouldn't be expecting to hear from me. Like, what sort of emotions are coming through for you? And from there, really think about the narrative. So what's the story that you're telling yourself? This is a really powerful exercise because, whatever's in our subconscious mind is determining our experience of reality, not only in practice, but in life. So it can be really worthwhile to unpack and unlock and explore the story that you're telling yourself. So, for example, common stories are things like, it would be weird. What if they hang up on me? What if they, don't want to hear from me? What if, right? So by really tapping into that underlying fear or belief around reconnecting with past clients, it sets you up then to be able to do that. So then you get to do things like, bringing compassion to yourself around doing this work. So doing the work of reconnecting with a former client. So if you were to bring compassion into how you feel now about reconnecting with a client, what would that look like, and what shifts or insights could emerge for you? That's something that's, again, very, very powerful. And, bringing that sense of compassion and loving guidance to your feelings of hesitation, what shifts or images might emerge, right? So this is creating a private practice from your soul, right? We're getting out of our heads. We're just unlocking things that we feel within. We're trying to tap into that something bigger than us, whether it's source or the universe or energy or Holy Spirit or, or whatever you choose to connect with. But I want you also to, think about the beauty of imperfection, like really being imperfect, and how does embracing your imperfect efforts in reconnection pave the way for greater authenticity, right? It's a very, very, very important question to ask yourself, and you might want to hit pause on this podcast and get your journal out and journal answers to some of these. It's really around that idea that Brené Brown had, I think it was her, around radical acceptance. But it reverses our habit of feeling like we're living at war with experiences that aren't familiar, or they're frightening, or they're scary, or maybe they're intense. And the other thing that I would love you to think about when it comes to your mindset around reconnecting is really think about the core reason why it's important to you to reconnect with a past client. What's your heartfelt intention here? Coming back to that helps you connect more deeply with your soul, helps you to show up in a way that's more genuine and authentic by getting you out of your head and out of ego mindset. Okay, so using a tool, perhaps like maybe a meditation or maybe a visualization. You might visualize a successful reconnection with a past client. I really want you to, if you do that, really think about, well, how does it feel? And, go beyond that. What am I doing? Who am I being? How am I, showing up in the world? And what's the ripple effect of this, positive interaction that I've now created? So that's just something to think about there. But really, your mindset has to be okay with this before you do the work, right? The next thing that I created was a collection of phone scripts that you could use, but you don't have to use them. When I say that, I know it sounds confusing, doesn't it? Sorry, I'm still a bit scratchy. Like, I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm coming down with something else now. I don't know why. I've got all my natural stuff here. I know I was raving about it last time. And guess what else? Just like a total aside. If you heard my last episode, I think I was telling you my sister's a nurse, right? And she's all about the traditional stuff, but she knows I'm not. And well, not that I'm not. She knows that I value that, but I also think that there's a place for the natural stuff. And it was so unexpected of her. She recommended a product to me called Armor Force. Armor Force is ARMA Force, and it's behind the counter, like over the counter medication, but it's all natural. But you got to get the pharmacist to dispense it for some reason. But it's for colds and flu. So she recommended that. So I've been on that for 2 days. But I don't know. I think maybe I ate something bad yesterday. I'm not feeling 100% today. But where's this all going? I forget. Yeah. So you can use these phone scripts yourself. So if you want to call a client just quickly, you can read these verbatim, right? I've got a bunch. I think I did 10 examples for you. Now they're only, I call them base examples. You're going to change the wording to meet your personality, or you could just read these if you feel comfortable and aligned with them. That's no problem. If you want a more professional tone, though, I've written them in a way that is how I would normally speak, like from that soul space, heart space, stuff like that. But if you want to use these and make them sound more professional, just edit them. That's totally fine. But when I said you could use them or not, somebody else could use them, I would, if you weren't comfortable still doing this work even after you've done the mindset work, I would just delegate this and I would give it to admin or I would give it to reception and I would give them a list of clients, or I would say to them, can you please have a look at, run a report of all the clients that, started but finished, abruptly or finished quickly or that disappeared over the last 6 months. I wouldn't go back any further than that. Just over the last 6 months. And could you ring each one of them, and I'll just circle the script on here that you want them to say, and encourage them to get that client booked in where it's appropriate and ethical to do so, right? So I'll just give you an example of, so you could do it yourself. You could give it to admin, give it to reception. If you have a student on placement and you're looking for things for them to do, this could be a great activity for them, because you get to then support them through this. So when they go out and have their private practices, they're going to be better equipped to do it, right? So it's something that will be helpful and relevant to them on placement as well. So anyway, just some ideas there for you. But it gets to be casual and it gets to be friendly and it gets to be easy. So here's one example. You could say, hey, insert client's name. It's Brooklyn. It's been a while, hasn't it? I just wanted to see how you've been. Remember, our door's always open if you fancy a chat, right? Something like that. Another one is, I'm just having a look. Hey there, so-and-so, it's Brooklyn from ABC, counselling practice. I was just thinking about our past chats and wondering how you've been. How's everything going? If you ever feel like catching up or sharing an update, I'm here to listen. No pressure, just a friendly hello, right? So there's things that you can do that you can use these as conversation starters, or you could use them just as voicemails. So if you ring a client and they're not answering the phone, just use these as voicemails. And as I said, you can edit them or use them verbatim. Another one is, hey there, such and such, it's Brooklyn from this practice. I hope things are going super well for you. If you're ever in the mood for a chat or a session, know my doors are always open. Take care and be kind to yourself. So something short and sweet like that. We don't have to be full on and pushing for appointments or bookings. But I'll tell you that, and I'm not going to go through all 10 examples, obviously, but there's 10 examples there in the document that I've created. And I only gave this out a couple of days ago, and already people in the email list are writing back to me and sharing that they've used these scripts and they've been successful with them and had people resume therapy. So because they needed it, because they wanted it, they were thankful, they were, what do I want to say? They were happy, I guess, that the therapist had remembered them and was reaching out to reconnect. So nothing bad has happened, okay? Nothing bad has happened as a result of counsellors and other wellness practitioners reaching out to former clients and past clients, okay? I just want to go into the other thing that I made you, which was a collection of email templates. So if you're a bit nervous about calling people and you would, rather email, it feels a little bit easier and safer, that's fine. I've got some email templates for you as well. So you can use these. And again, I think this was the first goodie that I shared in with my email list, and I also mentioned it in the Counsellors Connect Australia group. But already, again, people are writing back to my emails and saying these are working. So, in less than a week, people are able to get more clients booked into sessions based off these email templates. So there's a few here. Again, these are only base templates, so you will want to tweak them so that they sound like you and they sound like your practice. As I said, I'm sort of casual and a little bit playful and soul-driven with mine, but you might have a more professional tone, so just change them to reflect you. But, here's an example of one of them. Hello, such and such. Connection and vulnerability can often be intertwined with timing. It's been a while since we last spoke, and I wanted to open the door for you to step back in if you feel called. If you'd like to reconnect and dive back into our conversations, you can book a session here, and I'll just pop my link to my booking page. However, if you've decided to take a different path, I respect and honour your journey. Please let me know if you prefer not to receive any further emails, and I'll ensure your file reflects your wishes. And I'll just, put the opt-out link there and then sign off with something like, remember, you have the power to shape your narrative. Warmly, Brooklyn, right? So, another example is, dear such and such, our narratives are ever evolving, shaped by our choices and circumstances. If you feel like revisiting some chapters that we already explored together, I invite you to reconnect here. But if your story is taking a different direction, you prefer to end our correspondence, please just let me know here. We're all storytellers and I honour the story that you choose, right? So just little different examples here of things that you can do and say that will help you connect. Okay, so you've got those. We've been over a few of those, but I would love you to really go back to that mindset work and really look at what's stopping me from reaching out to past clients. Am I afraid of rejection? If you are, and I'm only just guessing here, but I felt like that in the past, but I'm guessing it's how you might feel. But if you're worried about rejection, for example, ask yourself, well, what would it mean if you were rejected, and what would be bad about that, and what would that mean, and what would be bad about that? So it's a downward arrow technique, and eventually you'll get to the root cause of why you're avoiding connecting with clients that you did feel connected to in a very powerful way once upon a time. Okay, so I think that this is going to be really, really helpful for you. If you're not on my email list and you would like the resources, please let me know. You can do that by contacting me on Facebook or even on Instagram. My handle on Instagram is @theprivatepracticecoach. And I'll be more than happy to get those over to you. Because I want you to be able to fill your diary. But more than that, I want you to be able to deepen connections that you've already got with your clients. And I want you to feel like you're living your purpose. This is what you're put on this planet to do. You didn't go and do all of this study and start a business to not work with people, right? You're all about connection. You're all about rapport. You're all about relationships. You've got more training than anybody else in the planet on how to do it. But sometimes we get these blocks. We put these unnecessary obstacles in our way, and they stop us from being able to do, our life's work, our purpose. And that's why I created this. So hopefully it helps you. If you have any requests for podcast topics, of course, also let me know that. I'm always here to help and support. And I want to say thank you very much for your support of my podcast. And if you're in my world online, in my memberships and courses and communities, I also want to thank you for being part of those worlds as well. I really, really, really appreciate you so much. Have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. I hope that you loved this episode as much as I loved putting it together for you. To get more resources to help you in your private practice, head over to Instagram. My handle is @theprivatepracticecoach. And also, if you want more inquiries and referrals for your business, let me know. I have a program called Clients on Demand that opens every quarter, and I can absolutely get you some information for that as well. You are doing an amazing job. Thank you for sharing your gifts with the world. Bye.